Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another event video on Marvel Strike Force. Today, we're here to talk about Pandapool and his event called, honestly, I don't even know, Red, Black, and Fluffy. It's got a weird name. It's probably in the title of my video. Honestly, I can't remember off the top of my head because I'm kind of tired. But anyways, if you want to know exactly what you need to do to get as many Pandapool shards as possible, I do want to give a bit of a heads up that this event is not going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of blitzing unless they happen to change this. Feedback has been given by both myself and other creators such as Big Positive Geek and a few others that the amount of blitzing that you're going to have to do for this is quite substantial. And so get ready. It's going to be tough. And we'll be talking about what maybe you can do to kind of alleviate that a little bit and how to do as best as possible. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. Now, before we get to the math, I just kind of want to bring this up here again. This is kind of the table for the event and what we're expected to get rewards wise. You can see that this is kind of, I mentioned this in the blog post a little bit, that this is a mixed method release, that this is going to be Pandapool shards in the main milestone here. There's actually, I don't think I can bring it up, but there's also going to be 10 Pandapool shards in the Machines of War Alliance milestone event, which is going to be happening this week as well. I think there's 10 in there, and then you're going to get 40 in here, and you should have no problems getting to this milestone. I believe it's 13, yes, for these 10 Pandapool shards after this. But then beyond that is a lot of this is whalestones. We're increasingly seeing at least 6 whalestones, maybe 7s in some cases. So this is not different. However, the main way that you're going to get shards through this outside of the milestone is going to be the bamboo orbs, and you're going to be getting fragments from daily payouts from the arena, and thankfully they're at least showing us how many we're going to get, and we'll be calculating that as well in terms of this event video too. And then the rest of the inputs come from, you get bonus points for the Spider Society new characters, Peter B, Pavitra, and Penny Parker. It's 1,000 each, and you get higher if they're at 5+ yellow stars. Now, for the purposes of the math in this video, I'm not actually including 5, 6, and 7 yellows for any of the new characters because I think that that's fairly hard to get. And unless you had really good luck, this is not expected. But if you do have a 5 yellow on Penny, you're actually getting the most amount of points here at 9,000. And then basically Penny does give the most amount of yellow star points. So if you do happen to have 5+ on Penny, then good for you. You're going to do a little bit better. And of course, this has a leaderboard, and it's going to be really important. And normally I would say, push as hard as you can on this. But the problem is that there is no real good way to push this event free to play. Normally in past leaderboards, you could push with energy, right? Campaign energy, ISO 8 energy, whatever. But this is really it. Like, the only way to get more points is just by doing better in the arena, which honestly is going to come down to RNG, or you sniping at the last minute before the payout, right? And then that could backfire too because of slingshotting. So beyond the fragments here, the only way to get more points is having the 5+ yellow stars on the characters, or, right, I mean, it's not free to play, but you could just buy points, I suppose, through the offers, because it's really important. I think that if you can get somehow to 1 to 3%, you should try and do that, right? Like, try and do as best as you can in the arena. And that's the only major suggestion that I have. Because the inputs are so different on this event, you can't just hoard up ISO 8 energy or campaign energy to push yourself ahead. In the web milestone, which includes blitzing and spending incursion energy. But this is finite. Like once you get to the last milestone, which is going to be a real pain in the ass because of the blitzing portion. But once you're done this, you're done this. And assuming you do all of this, maybe that'll get you to 1 to 3%. The blitzing component is quite heavy, and so maybe not everyone's going to do that. And so maybe if you clear this web milestone, that might put you into the 1 to 3%. If you do all this and you do well in the arena, maybe that will get you in the 1 to 3%. Honestly, I don't have tons of suggestions on that side of things, though, in terms of how to push yourself further, because there's really nothing you can do other than having a Spider Society at 5+ yellow and doing well in the arena. But aside from that, let's get to the actual math portion of the event here. So black, white, and red all over. It's a 7-day event. Again, this involves the arena payouts, blitzing, incursion energy, and raiding with Spider Society, although it's mostly bonus points for that. The total milestone points required for this is 250k. Whalestones, right? We know that. The event item, though, is going to be at 49,300, and this is milestone 12. This is fairly easy to do, I would say. Total event currency is 83,000. Now, normally at this point, I would do a recap, but because I've been away for the last couple of weeks, I haven't been keeping up to date on the May month-long tally that I normally have for, well, for example, April. This was April's, right? Normally I have something like this for May. I do not have it prepared to go. So unfortunately, we'll be starting this back up again for June when that kicks up, but I don't have a tally for May, unfortunately, so my apologies for that one. I'm assuming that we'll get to the end. Otherwise somebody's going to make a complaint about it, and we'll find out maybe in the next event after this one. Free claims, we don't really know. Pandapool shards is 40 shards at milestone 13, which is 61k. This is fairly reasonable to do if you're able to clear the web milestone. This is super, super important because the web milestone gives you 45,000 points, and this is a lot. Like you can see, it's pretty much the event item. If you can do this, this is pretty much getting you the event item. With the free claim, it probably is there. Now, for this event, I have included the 3,000 points that you're going to get for using Peter B, Pavitra, and Penny one time. It's 1,000 points each, so that's 3,000. Everything else, you can see it in the charts that we looked at before. If you have 5+, great. Like my main character, my main account, I don't. I have like a 3 yellow Pavitra. I have a 4 yellow Penny. You know what? I almost have a 5 yellow Peter. It's I think I just screwed myself. So not quite there, unless I happen to get it out. No, the Spider Tech Orb, that's gone now. So the Battle Pass, I think I finished as well. So I don't think that there's any more opportunities for me to get Peter B unless I open up some orbs before the end of the event. And that might get me a couple thousand points. But again, I'm not expecting most of you to have a 5 yellow on these characters. If I don't have it, I mean, you guys would have to get super lucky, or you would spend course previously on these characters in order to get those bonus points. So if you do, great. Everyone else, probably not. And this is the arena rank payout we saw. This is actually the exact same payout as the Cosmic Ghost Rider event. For better or for worse, it's a completely different event, though, because CGR had a war component where you had inputs for doing war attacks. This one's a little bit different, but the payout is the same. You can see here that you get from 1 orb basically a top 500, and then all the way up to 2 orbs at top 10. And then there's a very minor difference between top 10 and like 1, but this might matter in terms of your 1 to 3% payout if you're trying to aim for that. So obviously, my only suggestion is to try and do as best as you can. But in terms of the input for the 1 to 3%, this feels like more of a roulette, honestly, at this point, because I don't think you're going to be able to consciously be able to direct your involvement in the event. No, that was terrible English. I don't know what I was trying to say. In order to score better, there's not a lot you can do, essentially. Like if you have power cores available to you, there's not much you can do to get further in this event, unless you can somehow get more shards for these characters and get them up to 5 yellow. It's a pretty tough leaderboard event because I think that a lot of the 1 to 3% are going to go to spenders or even light spenders, because otherwise I just don't know what more you're going to be able to do about this. The Sinister Strike web milestone. We need to talk about this because this is the heavy Blitz portion that I wanted to talk about, that I mentioned at the beginning. So you need 5,000 points. Here's the point inputs. 1 incursion energy, it gives you 1 point, and 1 Blitz battle gives you 1 point. Yes, that's right. 1 Blitz battle gives you 1 point. So there's about, I think, 55, maybe 56 teams available, depending on if you bought Dokken or Pandapool. But I'm assuming you don't. I think I only have 55. I've got to double check. But anyways, the math is done at 55. So you're getting, like, if you do all 55 of your teams, you're getting 55 points. The funny thing is, though, is that your daily incursion energy is about 144. You get 60 for a refresh, right? So essentially, like, every refresh you do for your incursion energy is about 1 rotation of Blitz. So they want you to do 200 cores on this in the incursion energy, because if you don't, this is basically impossible. And we'll take a look at why. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit more as we get this a little bit easier. So let's just say a daily incursion energy is 144. With 200 cores, you plus 240, it's 384. Times by 7 days, you're getting about 2,700, right? So you just subtract this from this. That's how much Blitz battles are left remaining, 2,300 or so. Now you divide this by 55 Blitz rotations, or 55 battles, sorry, per rotation, and you get 42 Blitz rotations. Divide that by 7 days, and you get 6 rotations. So this is 6 Blitz rotations that you have to do, even with 200 cores daily in incursion energy. If you do not do 200, like if let's say I change this to 144, this is just without the cores, right? It turns into 10 rotations. So you have to you not only do you have to core for the incursion energy, but if you don't have 55 teams, you're kind of fucked as well. So if you're a mid game player, a new mid game player who, I don't know, maybe only have 30 to 40 blitz teams, you're also probably kind of fucked. If I were to change this to say divided by 40 teams instead, you're getting like okay, so you bare minimum you need like 8, or sorry, you need 40 teams at a bare minimum. If you did like 30 teams, it'd be like 11 rotations. It's impossible. It's impossible to clear. So just want to show you how the math changes with that. So if you're not, and if you don't have incursion, the incursion campaign unlocked, you're also kind of fucked. So this is a really tough event in terms of the amount of blitz rotations they're expecting from us on a daily basis. It's sad because we've given the feedback that in the past a lot of these events were kind of based around maybe 3 to 4 blitz rotations a day. 6 plus is really pushing it in my opinion. Like this is at the this is assuming 200 cores daily. You're doing 6 rotations a day. Now what I have done and what I don't, I'm not saying everyone needs to do this. It's just what I've decided to do, and it's up to you if you want to do this or not. I've actually started to collect incursion energy above the cap with my cores, and the reason for this is because for every time you do a core refresh on your incursion energy, that removes the amount of rotations you need to do by 1. And honestly, I just want to like have the least amount of blitzing as possible. Now, of course, this is not necessarily what you have to do daily. You could do as many blitz rotations as you want, like do 8 per day, and then maybe at the very end you'll have like 1 free day. That's basically it. So get all of it done as fast as possible, I guess, and then you can have some free time. But this is still a lot of blitzing that you're going to have to do. And the only way to get this better is to core more core early on your incursion energy, because I do not recommend going above 200 cores daily on your incursion energy, because then it's going to start requiring 100 cores per refresh, and it's just not worth it. I don't think 100 cores per 1 rotation is worth it. So that's just my opinions. Now, if you add up the reasonable point totals, if you're I did this for 3 different scenarios. So if you're top 500 in your arena rank, which is pretty reasonable, I would say, for an active player, you're gonna get about 62,000 points. This is with all the points above, the web milestone and your payouts, times 7 days, that kind of stuff. Does not include the free claims, however. This gets you just past milestone 13, which gives you all of the Pandapool shards. So that's pretty nice. You're going to get less orbs overall, though. So that's probably going to be top 500. That's 1 orb, right? So 1 orb, 14 orbs. Sorry, 7 orbs. And then you get 5 orbs from the web. So that is 12 orbs. And the free claim might have orb fragments. I don't know. Might get you a Pandapool unlock. He's 100 shards, though, right? So you need 95 shards. Honestly, hard to say, because you get 40 from the web, 10 from that alliance event. So you would need about another 45 from the event, from the orb itself. I'm not gonna tell you what the estimated value of the orb is, because it changes honestly all the time. I will let you know though that the Cosmic Ghost Rider estimated value was a 6.15. However, I don't know if that's going to be the same for Pandapool or not. So if that's the case, if it's still 6.15 for Cosmic Ghost Rider as it is for Pandapool, then you probably will get them unlocked at top 500 arena rank. For top 50 arena rank, you're going to be looking at milestone 14. You're getting about maybe 10,000 more points. And then the difference between top 50 and top 10 is very minor. It's like 3,500 points difference, because there's not a crazy amount of difference. However, for the leaderboard side of things, this could make a significant amount of difference if you're trying to aim for that 1 to 3%. So obviously you want to do the best as you possibly can. Still milestone 14 though. This probably won't change with the free claim either. It's not included in this. So some final notes. This web milestone requires a lot of blitzing. Be prepared to do about 6 blitz rotations a day, unless you hoard incursion energy, which is what I've been doing. The only free-to-play input to get higher in the leaderboard will be through your arena rank or 5+ yellows on Spider Society characters. There is a fair bit of points for those Spider Society characters, especially Penny Parker. If you happen to have 5 yellows on her, great. That being said, this is not an event that is very friendly to push with power cores. There's not much you can do with your power cores to push this higher, like past events where you could use it for energy sources. I would still try to aim for 1 to 3%, but this will be a lot harder to do when many things will likely be out of your control, which includes your arena rank payout. And like I said, there's nothing you can really push your cores with other than more arena attacks, or like, I don't know, try to snipe at the last minute and hope you don't get like slingshot backwards, because that sucks too. And that's why arena rank payouts mixed in with a leaderboard event is kind of garbage, in my opinion. That's going to be the end of this event video. And of course, as always, I'm just going to put this here. Everything is subject to change. You never know what's going to change in Marvel Strike Force because the blogs change all the time. So might the math. Who knows, after some of the feedback has been given. But if that's the case, I will let you guys know on my Discord server. That's the best place to be to kind of follow along and get the kind of as it happens kind of updates. So if you're not part of the Boilon Discord channel server, make sure that you are. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. And of course, until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.